Pope Benedict said the church exists for three things: to worship, to evangelize, and to serve the poor. It's a good way to think about how we are called to be on mission. We gather today to worship, to bow down. But it's not just Sunday worship. Really, in your daily prayer life, you come before the Lord to worship Him, to bow down, to be fed, to encounter Him in your prayer. Perhaps if you go to adoration, we have plenty of openings for adoration, to take time out of our day to come before Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, to bow down, to worship Him, to be fed and nourished, to bring before Him spiritual readings or the Scriptures so you can deepen your relationship. I think of this relationship like fire, the burning bush. Fire, like Jesus said, I wish that there was a fire already on the earth. Fire like the Holy Spirit coming down like tongues of fire to dwell within us. Fire like in baptism, you receive a candle and the deacon or the priest says, receive the light of faith. May you keep this flame alive in your heart until the Lord comes and you go out to meet Him with all the saints in His heavenly kingdom. Worship entails attentiveness to this relationship with God like a fire, a breathing presence. And so we are challenged to not become complacent. Our readings today challenge us not to become complacent. Amos is preaching to the northern kingdom. They had become complacent in their wealth. They had turned away from God, and they were not recognizing the plight and the suffering of those around them. We have to be weary of our complacency, that we have arrived, that everything is fine. And so the way we do that is staying rooted in God, who is like a burning fire, always breathing and transforming and renewing us. And so Jesus sent the Spirit so that we could dwell in Him. And in fact, we are seeking to put on that new nature, to turn away from that fallen nature. So worship is critical as we are called to be church. And we are called to evangelize, to make known the good news. Paul is writing to Timothy today, encouraging him to be fervent in prayer, fervent in love, fervent in his relationship with evangelizing and living a life that reflects the confession, the true confession that Jesus truly is the Son of God, the one who has come into the world. And so he's encouraging him not to become complacent, but to stay alive in that confession of faith. And so the reading from the gospel then challenges us about our work with the poor. This reading troubles us when we read it. It challenges us to say, am I doing enough? Am I doing anything at all? Am I going to be like the rich man? We know the scriptures are pointing to us what God is trying to instruct us is this relationship, because God knows the poor man's name, Lazarus, but we are not given the rich man's name. It's kind of a reversal, right? We know people of influence. We know people who are famous. We know their names. We had a conference here this week called Kingdom Medicine. Now, I had read a book a few years ago called Be Healed by Bob Couch. I love the book. He was at the conference. He was walking through the rectory over here, and I said, I'm Father John. He said, I'm Bob Couch. And I was like, whoo, you're Bob Couch? I was starstruck. I had read his book. I had my picture taken with him. We know people who are famous, but God reverses it. He knows the names of the poor. And so our invitation to live the gospel is to serve the poor, is to know them, be in relationship with them. We have a wonderful ministry here in the Cathedral Parish and lots of Catholic parishes around the world called St. Vincent de Paul. And the St. Vincent de Paul ministry is a ministry of worship, evangelization, and service to the poor. It brings together us knowing the poor, in relationship, us praying with them, getting to know them. We need more laborers for this ministry. The harvest of the poor is abundant. We see them all over the city. Sometimes we don't see them, but they're there. We are called to minister to them. If we come too complacent, we will ignore them. We'll ignore the plight of not only the poor on the corners, the poor of the immigrants, the poor of the systemic poor around us. We are called to minister to the poor, to know them by name. Least we come complacent in our faith and don't even see them like the rich man in the gospel. And so this call can take place in many ways, and you have to figure it out wherever you're at in your stage of life. Right now, if you're raising a family, you go, I don't have time, right? Because they consume all your time. You're kind of raising the poor because they're totally dependent on you. You're providing everything for them. So in that domestic church, you're living out that call, but you're also teaching your children. So how will you teach them about serving the poor? So look for opportunities to do that. I see a person in the church today, I'm not going to tell you his name, but he came to me a few years ago and he goes, I feel called to do missionary work. I was like, okay. So he connected up. God led him to some people in northern Kentucky, and they had a connection to a mission in Jamaica called the Mustard Seed Community. So he started gathering people to go to that. He even got me to go once. And it's a ministry to the poorest of the poor in Jamaica, those who are abandoned, those who have no one to care for them. Oftentimes they're suffering from physical or mental disabilities. And so this priest had started a camp to care for them. So this man, because God's call, answered it and has taken many people over to Jamaica, not for vacation, but to serve the poor. So, where's God calling you today in your faith with Him, your relationship with Him, to evangelize and serve the poor?